Hi my loves, and welcome back to my channel. I am Gregoria, also known as G, and I am a spiritual teacher and mindset coach here on this channel to deliver all things esoteric mysticism, laws of the universe, law of attraction specifically, and all the things in between. So welcome here today. I am so excited to be here for another video. This video literally came out of the blue, and I was having a conversation with a friend last night about soul age and ego and the roles it plays. And I recalled receiving a reading a number of years ago by a man named Shepherd Hoodwin, and he actually did my reading. Now, do I believe that people can channel and receive information about your soul age and about your personality and your purpose here on earth? Absolutely. Do I necessarily think that what they say is absolute truth? No. So that was just his interpretation of what he read through my eyes. Do I necessarily think that it is 100% accurate? No, not at all, because I've received a series of readings throughout my life that sometimes contradict the other. So it was just really interesting to receive that sort of insight into my own life, and then whatever resonated with me felt like the truth, and whatever didn't, and that's fine. So what I'm basically here to talk to you about today is soul ages and the roles they play in our lifetime, so people can get a better understanding, because I often hear online in the online community, I'm an old soul, right? And I'm basically here to tell you that anyone who's telling you they're an old soul is not an old soul, because there's too much ego there. The older the soul age, the less ego that exists, because if we're going to transcend from this physical plane onto the next journey for our souls, which is no longer in the physical dimension, then ego would essentially be non-existent by the end of that cycle. Now, there are 7 soul ages, and each soul age then has a minimum of 7 reincarnations. When I say minimum of 7, it could even be up to 20, depending on how many times your soul needs to come back and reincarnate into the physical to learn the certain lessons in each soul age. So I'm going to read you the soul ages now. It's from a website called michaelteachings.com. I've read numerous articles on soul ages. This is the one that resonates the most with me. I will link all the articles I reference in the description box below, so please click on them, have a read for yourself, and decide what feels good to you. So I want to add one thing before I go through the soul ages, and that is that it is said that there are 7 planes to go through. So you have the physical plane, then you have the next level plane, the next level plane, the next level plane. So even those who are old souls, all right, here in the physical, they still have a long way to go, all right, until they become one with the light. So doesn't matter what level you're on, we all still have a very long way to go if we're here in the physical form, okay? So you don't need to worry so much. You don't need to get caught up in this information. Is this information necessary? No, absolutely not. Is it informative for you to grasp an understanding on people and the way they project themselves in this time-space reality? Absolutely, it's incredibly useful. Before I go into the soul ages, I also want to mention that soul age is not hierarchical. An old soul doesn't impose more wisdom than an infant soul necessarily, okay? You can be more open to your consciousness at younger soul levels. And we often find this, that although there are mature souls, they're very much still caught up in their ego, and they're not open channels to all the information that they can access, and so they appear to be younger in soul age than they actually are, because they've just not grown into that level of consciousness yet. And it could also be your youth. Like if you're still in your 20s and 30s like I am, I may not have fully grown into my soul age yet. And then there are even people in their 70s that are yet to grow into their soul age. All right, so although these are examples and stereotypes of each soul age, they aren't definitive. There are exceptions to every soul age, and they come in different forms, but this is just a general idea. So first you have your infant souls. Infant souls tend to reincarnate brand new into the world, just trying to survive. It's those who tend to grow up in third world countries and in war and poverty, and they're just trying to get their bearings right. However, they're highly intuitive because they're still connected to that soul, to that spirit essence. So they still remember a lot of that information, okay? So they're more at peace. Although they don't have much, they're very at peace with that. And they're very tapped in, not intellectual in regards to the physical awareness. So they aren't necessarily street smart, but they're book smart, if that's a really good analogy to use. They tend to be more instinctive and innocent and and even destructive at times. Their mode is for survival. They're in survival mode. And you will come through at least 7 lifetimes living as an infant soul, minimum 7 lifetimes, and it could be more than that. Then you have your baby souls, and we do see a lot of baby souls in politics. We see a lot of baby souls as those who want to follow the rules, regimented, those who are currently following the narrative that's being projected in the world right now. They're baby souls. They're people that are just like, I want my white picket fence and I want to follow the rules and regulations. I want to get my injections and I want to do what I'm told. All right? They love political correctness. They're law abiding. They're learning the rules and the laws of the land. They hold very strong family values and religious attachment. So those who are very religious and follow the rules to a T, they tend to be baby souls. Then you have your young souls. Their focus is on success and achievement. They are those who are moving now into the political world. So they've gone from the rules and rule abiding people to those who actually want to impose those rules and regulations. They're focused on success, on achievements, on status. They're learning to impact the world. They want to have a say. And that's why a lot of people now that are really fighting the good fight say that they're trying to share all of this information. But the fact that they're trying to share with the recognition in return is telling us, that's a huge red flag in regards to soul age, that they are not yet at the old soul age level. All right, they're still trying to impose their beliefs onto others and basically get recognized for their status. They love leading a life towards prosperity. It's very money focused for them. And again, when I share this soul age with you, there's nothing wrong with any of the stages. We all go through all of them. Okay, so there is nothing wrong with being where you're at. But again, this gives us an idea of who we're listening to and why we're listening to them and why they are saying what they're saying and why they're living out their life the way they're living out their life. Then you have your mature souls. Your mature souls are trying to build relationships, both with themselves and with others. They do tend to gravitate toward emotional drama, so they're like a little mama drama in your life. So what you'll notice is a lot of the people online right now, especially in the spiritual community, that are sharing all of this information, that are challenging the current narrative, that are trying to wake you up, that are sharing about consciousness and enlightenment and the spiritual journey and soul ages tend to be mature souls. All right, I personally identify as a mature soul, and again, there is a different level of mature soul because I go through a mature soul lifespan at least 7 times and possibly more. When I received my reading, he ranked me at a mature soul level 3. I don't necessarily think that that's accurate. However, I do identify as a mature soul. There are those who still want to have an active role in society. There are those who are building platforms that are trying to spread the message, the writers, the readers, the teachers, those who are really trying to get out there. The coaches, almost all coaches tend to be, not all of them, that's a huge generalization, but a lot of coaches tend to be a mature soul level. And often many mature soul levels will identify as old souls, although they are not. If ego is still very much present, if I want to get famous by writing a book, if I want to get recognized, if I want people to know through spiritual elitism that I'm more enlightened than you are because of what I channel and what I know, then you are not there yet. You are not an old soul. But a mature soul tend to be the people who want to serve, who really want to make positive changes in the world, and incredibly required. Every soul level is required, but mature souls are the ones that are really shaking up the pot right now. Then you have your old souls. So they are those who see the larger perspective in life, the big picture, the philosophical perspective. Now, would you know many old souls? No. They tend to not be famous. They tend to be monks in the Himalayas who are praying all day. They tend to be homeless people. They are people who come into the physical plane no longer being attached to material things. They don't need anything. They don't want anything. They don't have a desire to be famous or recognized. They share their message. They can be famous. There are certain old souls that I'm aware of who are quite famous, but what you'll notice about them is there's no desire to be known as a guide or a teacher. They're just spreading their message, whether or not it lands in the hands of millions of people or not, it doesn't matter to them. They tend to be nature lovers, spiritual, unassuming, wise, aloof, unambitious. They don't really have any major life goals. They're also a little bit lazy. They're just not interested in getting out there and doing much because they're here for ascension, essentially. You also then have two other soul ages. You have transcendental and you have infinite. So infinite are people like Jesus, Buddha. Transcendental are people like Muhammad, Gandhi, Socrates, right? And do we all reincarnate into those levels of soul age? No, we don't. But it does happen at times. Now I want to read you a passage that's been channeled. Michael Teachings is Michael is an entity similar to Abraham Hicks, a channeled entity that's channeled by a collective group of people and shares information. And this was channeled through Michael as the entity, and it's about soul age, and I want to read it to you, right? And this is talking about how soul age is not hierarchical, like I mentioned earlier. The degree to which you are spiritually awake denotes your level of consciousness, not your soul age. This message bears repeating since the concept of soul age has been greatly misunderstood by our students. Soul age, of course, may act as a natural reinforcement of consciousness, bolstered by the reincarnational experience acquired. But this offers no guarantee that the conscious level of a soul will be commensurate with the soul age stage. To illustrate, rays of the sun that hit the equator also strike the Arctic Circle, but the sun in the Arctic is low on the horizon and the light is never direct. That is why it is colder in the Arctic. A soul without the direct loving rays of essence could also be considered as receiving light that is low on the horizon, and this may occur at any soul age. In other words, strictly based on hierarchical measurement, an old soul is not necessarily more advanced than a younger soul. That advancement is measured by the level of consciousness in each soul. As already stated, the level of consciousness is a measurement of how much an incarnating soul is spiritually awake. The higher the occurrence of negative states in a personality, the lower the level of consciousness. In that respect, being awake is entirely possible in the younger soul stages. Instances exist where a 7th level old soul can possess a lower level of consciousness than a 7th young. It all depends on the quality of inner work being done by that personality. And I pause. And that's why I always recommend that going inward is the way. Tapping into your intuition is the way. The inner work is the work. Let me continue. Spiritual advancement is not directly linked to soul age. Soul age is merely an estimate of the course curriculum completed in the reincarnational cycle. Greater states of awareness may be achieved during this progression and applied to ensuing lifetimes, but work is still needed to smooth out the rough edges. Like everything else in the teaching, the decision to evolve spiritually is a choice. While the collective reincarnational experience of soul age may lead to spiritual development, its course of study does not immediately bestow a level of consciousness on an incarnating soul that's better or worse than another. The metamorphosis of a tadpole into a frog merely requires the time for the biological process to occur. The stages of life from infant child to an elderly adult requires that the life is lived. Any spiritual growth that transpires during that progression comes from facing life's experiences at a state of awareness that's transformative. Therefore, higher consciousness is the product of a personal choice to gain mastery over negative states, and in so doing, awaken to the truest potential of the soul. Damn. Now that's incredibly powerful. I don't think that there's any more that you need to know in regards to soul ages. I will link a whole bunch of articles down below in the description so you can explore a bit more and come up with your own understanding and interpretation of them. But just know that there is so much misinformation out there, and even this may not necessarily resonate with you, and that's okay. But I just wanted to share an alternative perspective on soul ages because so many people identify as old souls and they just don't understand the way souls reincarnate into this physical plane and then beyond into other planes. And it's really good to open your mind to new ways of thinking and new ideas. That's how you expand. So I'm planting seeds, not of knowledge, not of alignment with truth. I'm planting seeds of your desire to tap into your own intuition. That is what my work is about. It's not me dictating to you what I believe is the truth. So many people will message me and be like, what is your opinion, G? And I will always say, my opinion actually doesn't matter to you at all, because your truth is what matters to you. What resonates with you is what matters to you. And the other reason why I wanted to talk about soul age is because so many people will often project their soul age as having hierarchical significance, which really is an attachment to spiritual elitism, trying to tell you that their channeled information is more true than your own intuition. And that is simply not the truth. Your intuition is your number one teacher, your number one guide, and how much you tap into it is completely up to you. Okay, I love you so much. If you want more enlightenment, I have a free positivity rampage available. Link is in the description box below. I love you so much. Please don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel. I love you so much, and I'll see you soon.